this. Okay, let it opens. Okay, so what we are going to discuss is we are going to draw this in 3 dimension, right? And in this hole you have 1000 Newton which is acting, and this 2 hole is fixed, right? They are given what is the dimension of this. So on 300 mm, 200 mm, right? So your length is 300 and your height is 200. And the radius of the hole is given, which is 10 mm each, and it is at the distance of 20, 30 and 20, 170, the 30 mm gap. Okay, this is at the center, right? The radius here is 30 mm, right? This is what we are going to model, right? So we model in ANSYS Workbench, right? Now, previously we discussed about design modeler. Now I will discuss related with this space claim. So now I got this ANSYS Workbench. So first thing is I want to model this as a static structure, right? So what I do is just double click this, right? Double click this static structure, you will get it here. Or also you can click and drag, right? You can put it here. It depends on whatever condition it is, right? So since it is a structural steel, I am not going to change any engineering data. So Young's models ellame adhe da, not going to change anything. So leave that. I'll go for this geometry, right? Right click this geometry. So when you right click, you will get 2 options: design modeler and geometry, space claim. So the design modeler is what we discussed previously. So somewhat custom model. So space claim, if you practice it, it will be very easy to model, right? So they implemented this. I think in ANSYS 16 onwards, you are getting this space claim. I think so. You just click the space claim. Here you can able to see this is your screen. So you can able to see here a plan view. So just like your Creo, so to tilt it in perpendicular direction, you can use this. So what I'm going to do is I will go for this plan view. Let me click here. So we will get something like this. Don't worry about this. What you can see. Coordinate system doesn't matter. So just you draw anything. You can change the coordinate system based on the particular component what you draw. What you can do is no need to worry about this X or Z coordinate system, because whenever you draw anything or import anything, you have to look after the figure and look after the particular coordinate system in ANSYS, and you have to provide the post data, right? So just I will draw a rectangle. So okay. So when I drag, you can able to see your rectangle. So I'm not going to leave it. So it is your wish. You can just leave this also. So let me stop here. Right? Okay. So now I completed this rectangle. Right? So next I will dimension this. Go to dimension here. Click particular length. I'll select this length. Put it here. So we'll do this one. Put it here. Okay. So now come out of this. So just click select. So don't go to you are in dimension now. Just click select. Right now you double click this particular value. So this has to be I double click it. I have to change it to 300. Okay. This one again double click this. Change it to 200. Okay. So now let me zoom out. Look how the rectangle is. Now to pan this, click the middle mouse button, right? So and then click control, then pan. So control and middle mouse button. So to pan this, okay? Now zoom out or zoom in accordingly, right? I am fixing it here. Now I will draw 2 circles here. So you have 2 circles here. The radius of the circle is, I think it is 10 mm. So which means diameter is 20, right? So it is at a distance of 20 and 30, right? So I will draw 1 circle here. So the radius is 20, right? I'll directly type it 20. I can enter. So it is my function, whatever it is. Similarly, I will draw another here. So it is similar to this. So now we can able to see it is fixing with respect to that particular circle. Idile parametric, it is aligning accordingly. So let me stop this. Right? So this is 20. Now I will go for dimension. So the dimension from here to here. Right? Similarly, I want dimension from here to here. Another dimension. Next, the dimension from with respect to this two, and with respect to this two. Right? So I completed allow my dimension variation. Let me go out. Okay. So double click this. This has to be 20. Similarly, this should also be 20. This is 30. And this is also. Right? I completed this particular part. Right? Next, I want to draw a bigger circle. So the radius of that circle is 30 mm. Radius is 30 mm, and it is a 220 and 100. Right? So that is the height. And we go for the circle. Somewhere here. Right? Radius is 30, which means diameter 60. I have typed 60. I'll go for dimension. Let me check it out whether it's 60 or not. It is 60, right? This is for reference. Okay. So now from here to here, so it has to be 220, and from here to this one, which is 100. Okay, dimension is click select. Now you double click this, change it to 100, 220. Right, so I modeled this. Right, my modeling is over now. So all the sketching part is over. Let me click end the sketch editing. Right, I got the sketch. Right, so you have a surface here, which is this 2-3 surfaces. So you just move your cursor to which one you want to extrude. Right, I want to extrude this part, whatever part you want. So it is highlighted. So in yellow color, you can able to see. So it is highlighted in yellow color, indicating that that is the part which is to be extruded. If I move it to this one, it will extrude only this part. When you move to here, it will extrude only this, or similarly to this. Right? You can able to see an arrow here. Let me rotate this middle mouse button. I'm rotating it. Right? I'm rotating accordingly. So just a particular view. Now move my cursor to this. We'll get this arrow. Click that arrow. Right? And then drag. I'm clicking and dragging. Right? So still I am holding my left click. Right? Now you have a dimension which is highlighted. Just enter the dimension 20 and then press. Right? So I just fix it to 20. Right? So drag பண்ணி நான் விடாம புடிச்சிட்டு இருக்கும்போதே நான் வந்து enter பண்றேன் value enter பண்றேன். So just enter the value, it will fix it accordingly. So this is my model. Right? So now you can able to see there are two models here. One is a solid one, other one is a surface one. Surface is that holes, right? Whatever we created, that is the surface one. So now you can able to see you have a surface and a solid one. Right? I don't want this. Right click the surface and go to suppress for physics, which means I don't want for analysis purpose. So I will just go for suppress for physics. Click this. This will be, you can able to see here. So it shows it is not applicable. Now you save this file. Right? Save here. So I am saving this in desktop. Right? I am saving this in desktop. I'll call this as bracket. Let me save this. Now we completed this particular design. Let me close this. So geometry is again, it's a question mark. Even though we completed, You right click here, go to import geometry, click browse. I'm going to import that. So what I saved, right? So in desktop, I have that bracket. I click that bracket and I click open. Right? So now you can able to see it is ticked, right? So the next step is I'm going to model this. Okay, so I'm going to mesh it and I'm going to apply the force. Let me double click this. You can able to see this mechanical window. Here you can able to view what are the list which is available. It is related to what we discussed in APDL. The first one is indicating what is the type of geometry what we are using it. So I have the solid state geometry here. You can able to see it in this graphical window. The next is type of material. So I'm using structural steel here. So you can able to see what are the data available for this structural steel by clicking on this particular steel. Next, it shows what is the coordinate system. So where is your coordinate system located in terms of X, Y, and Z. Then meshing. So we are going to mesh this automatically by as we are doing in APDL. After that, this is your solution where you are going to apply your boundary conditions. After you apply the boundary conditions, you can also go for post processor here by indicating what are the results you are going to view this. Before we start, let me tell you how to use this window. So when you go move this window, you can able to see there are different cursors. So when I move the cursor nearer to this particular edge, you can able to see a cuboid with the edge selection, right? You can use this for selecting a particular edge. So similarly, when I move a little bit, you can able to see. So you can able to see the cuboid which is having a face selection. So the entire face. So this is how you can able to select a particular type of boundary conditions by whether you are going to apply it in the edge or in the faces. So this is applicable by using this icon. You can able to see here. So smart select icon is enabled here. Because of that only you are getting these types of things. So whether you move it accordingly, it will pick. Otherwise, if you want, instead of, sometimes you want, for example, I want to select this entire object. So smart selection cannot be applicable here because whenever move it shows only the face. I can't able to select this entire object as a one particular constraint. So in that cases, you can able to use this icons to select it. The first one is vertex. When I click this, you can able to select only the vertex, not the edges or whatever it is. You can able to see here. So you can able to move only on the vertex. The second one is your edge selection. When I select this, I can select only the edge. So it is filtering. You can able to see how it filters. The third one is face. You can select only the face. The fourth one is solid. If you have 2 or 3 solids, then you can select a particular solid. So you can able to see. When I move here, the entire solid is selected, right? You can also use these things so based on your boundary conditions, right? So this is one term. The other one is you can able to see your axis here. So x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So if you want to locate a particular view, you can click that particular axis. For example, I want to view perpendicular to this. You can click this y-axis. When you do that, you can able to see here. It is perpendicular to it. Similarly, z-axis. So or x-axis. So you can also click this sphere here to see what is your isometric view, right? So this is how you can able to play with this, manipulate with this, and to move this, you can also use the buttons here. So I am clicking the middlemost button. You can able to see an arrow, so I can drag it. So with middlemost button, I can drag. You can able to see, you can able to shift it like this. So you can rotate it. So with control and middle, I can able to pan this particular object. Rotating the mouse wheel, you can able to zoom in or zoom out. So these are some options you have, right? This is how you can able to work in this particular window. So because for selection, it will be very easy. Now I'm not going to do all these things. I'll directly go for this mesh option. When I click this mesh option, it shows what type of meshes here, some categories. I'll go to sizing. So sizing, you have a resolution here. Default it is 2, right? Let me check it out. What happens in 2 when I increase it? What happens, right? Let me indicate. So let me consider that it is 2. Let me generate it. So you can either click generate, or I can right click this and click generate mesh. Okay, let me do that. It takes some time, so you can able to see here. You have missed this, so you can able to see the elements. So you can able to see the elements are very big in size. In order to reduce the size of the element, I can go to mesh again. Instead of resolution 2, I can increase the resolution 3 or 4, whatever it is. When I do that, you can able to see the difference. Now I am meshing it again. Right click, generate mesh. So still, see, you can able to see. So there are more elements now. So you can increase this. So maximum, I think you can go for 7, not more than that, right? So I am going for 7 now. Right clicking, and I'm going to generate this mesh. So since you have lots of meshes here, elements here, it takes some time. Yeah, you can able to see there are lots of elements here. So it is very much purely meshed, right? So this is one way of doing this type of meshing, right? So sometimes I want to mesh around this circles and all. So for example, this circle you can able to see when I zoom the circle. So the meshes is not proper here, right? So you can able to see there are lots of differences here. So I want some pattern type of meshes, right? So what I can do, I can go for, I will right click this mesh, go to insert, right? I'll choose this inflation. So you have an option called as inflation. Select this, select your geometry. So this is my entire geometry. I'm selecting this, and then I'm just clicking this, apply. Select the boundaries. Boundary is this one. Sorry. So this is my boundary. Similarly, this one and this one. These are my boundaries. Let me select this. So now it is asking what number of layers you want. I'm reducing the layers. I'm going to have 3 layers. Okay, let me have 4 layers, right? So I have made an inflation. So in order to make something proper near this circles, let me go for again right click. Let me mesh it again. Yeah, now you can able to see the difference. You can able to see all the squares has gone. Now it has become a rectangular type of meshes, but there is a pure meshes here. So along this region, right? So you can able to see. So there are 3 layers, 4 layers, depends on inflation what we are given, right? So this is also useful when you want to mesh something in a smooth way. So along the circle or whatever it is you want, you can go for it, right? Right. Okay. I am not going to do it with this now. I'm going to delete this inflation because I need it in a rectangular way, because this has lots of elements which takes lots of time for me. You can try it out. Anyway, the solution you will get will be nearer to it. So to avoid some time constraints, I'm reducing that. I'll just mesh with our previous mesh, whatever we discussed. So this is how it is meshed now. Okay, completed this part. So my pre-processor is over. The next step is I will go for this analysis. So I have to apply my boundary conditions. So go to the static analysis. You can able to see a question mark here, which means I have not applied any boundary condition. Right click this. Go to insert. I am going to insert a fixed support. Okay, let me click fixed support. So according to this particular problem, so this part and this part is fixed. So I am select these two parts. Okay, so to select it, I am using control to select the face. Right, the first one selected directly. The second one I press control to select it. Okay, so now I have selected these two. I will click apply. So these two sides is fixed now. You can able to see here, right? The next one is I'm going to apply a load here. So the load what you are going to apply is 10,000 Newton. So along your x direction. That is what mentioned in the question. So let me go to structure, right click, insert. So you have something called as force. Go to force here, select this force, select this particular region. You can able to see I selected that. I will apply this. So you have something called as magnitude here. So when I apply this magnitude, the force will be perpendicular to that in a particular way. Let me show you. I mean to type 10,000 now. You can able to see here. It shows an arrow like this, right? So along to this direction. So it's like a shear type of load which is acted. But I don't want like this. I want towards downward direction, right? So my mesh should be towards downward direction. In that case, what I am going to do is, instead of define by vector, I will change this vector to components. Let me click this component. It shows now what is my x component, y component, and z component. So I want towards downward. So downward, you can look at this particular coordinate system. Your x is towards downward, right? So positive is along this direction. When you give negative, it has to be minus. Minus will be towards upward direction, right? So for this, I need to give positive x value, right? So y value is what perpendicular direction. Z value is along this direction. Okay. So I want to give only x value. I will type 10,000 here. Now you can able to see, right? So no need to worry about the location because I have selected this entire part. So it may be at any, so it will take the overall constraint and it will apply the load accordingly, right? So I have applied my force also. The next step is I will go for solution. Let me right click. So now itself we have to specify what are the solutions you need, what are the results you need. Okay. So in APDL it is not like that. So after we complete it, we will choose, we will go for general post processor and we will choose here. Whereas here you can right click and you can choose what are the results you need. So I will go for insert. Insert. I need deformation, total deformation. Similarly, I will insert. I need stress, Von Mises stress. So these are the two values I am going to concentrate. So let me select this two, right? So after this, all the process is over now. I have completed all the things. Only thing is I have to update your solve icon. So you can able to see a lightning symbol here. So this lightning symbol is also here to solve. So just press solve. Yeah, I got my results now after I solve. So while I'm solving it, there was a problem in licensing number of elements. So I reduced my number to 5, right? So previously I kept it at 7. So it says that it is exceeding the limit in license file. So I reduced it to 5, right? After I reduced to 5, I solved it. So now I got the solution here. So let me click my total deformation. We'll get overall deformation along this particular path, right? So okay, I will fix it. So I have an option here to zoom to fit. I will fix this. I can click this animate option to animate how it looks in this particular um, deformation plot. So this is my deformation. The next one is stress. When I click my equivalent stress, you can able to see what are my equivalent stress along this particular path, right? So again, it is also, you can able to get it in an animation way. So how it develops, right? So and you can able to see here when I look at after I identify my stress. So your stress is developed along this edges. So you can able to see here. So when I zoom here, so along this edges, and you can able to see there are some blue colors here, right? So which is, it doesn't have any stresses. So your stress is approximately 0 here, which means these are the portions which won't affect this particular model, right? Whatever the force we apply, it won't affect this particular model. So the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this model. So we took a rectangle, we have two holes which is bolted, so which is a fixed end, and one side you are be mounting something here. So I applied a force of 10,000 Newton, and after that I got this results. After this results, you can able to see here there are few things which you can remove, right? So the materials can be removed. So this is our usual static structural analysis. Now we'll go for uh, topology optimization. So the topology optimization means to reduce the mass of a particular object based on your previous results. Okay, we got our results here. Only thing is I have to reduce it accordingly, right? Let me proceed with this. Since all this is completed, I will save this file and I will close this. Now you can able to see that all has been ticked now. So every part has been completed now, right? So now we will proceed with this topology optimization. In the toolbox, you have an option here called as topology optimization. Let me go here. I'm left clicking and dragging this. When I drag it, you can able to see some green color. So I'm going to highlight on a green color. So this means I will put it here, right? So it is not connected. So I have to connect it with your previous results. So let me move here. You can able to see it is in red color. Now I am leaving my left click. You can able to see automatically your material models, everything is connected. It is taking the solution from your previous model, and you are going to do optimization based on this location, right? So when you look here, all are ticked here, model up to models. So I am going to change my setup. That is the only thing I am going to do now, right? Let me double click this setup. Now you can able to see a similar type of window what we have discussed in structural analysis. Along with that, you also have additional information called as topology optimization. So you can able to see the what are the objective for this, what is the response and other things. So you can change these values in this analysis settings. So I'm not going to update any of this because we already seen what is the results for this particular model, right? Only thing is I have to update my topology optimization. Let me go to analysis setting here. We click, you can able to see what is your accuracy you want to solve for this particular thing. Let it be the same values. I'm not going to change any of this. Let me go for optimization region. When you go for optimization region, I can able to see a few values here. So you can able to see something in blue color and something in red color. The software automatically takes
the boundary conditions in red color, which means that is excluded in the optimization. So you can't reduce these items, so it is compulsory, it is applicable. So other region you are going to optimize it. Okay, so this case is important if you want to add few more regions. For example, I want this face compulsorily, right? Which means it should not be removed, this face should not be removed. In that case, I can include this, right, in exclusion region. So how to do this? You can select this and you can select in the boundary condition. So I can able to do that. Okay, so that is one way. So this is my optimization region. So which one I have to optimize, right? So the region which is optimized will be in red. Sorry, the region which is optimized will be in blue color, and the exclusion part will be in red color. The next step is you have something called as objective. Let me click this objective. So you have a particular program control. It is purely program control, and my aim is to minimize my result. So mostly you no need to change this objective, let it be the same. So only in advanced option you can go here to change your goals and all. But anyway, so since for trial version you don't have much options here. Okay, we'll go for response constraint. The next one, in response constraint you can able to see what is your response, which means let me click here. You have a category whether you want to reduce the volume or you want to change the center of gravity, moment of inertia, which one you have to reduce it. What is your response? So most of the case this topology optimization is meant for reduction in mass. So I'll go for mass. So mass and volume, I think most of the it is same uh, in terms of thing. So we go for volume only if there is a different different material properties. So where I have to consider only on volume, right? So that case you can go for it. In this case, since you have only one material, the mass and volume is same. Let me go for mass. And how much percentage you have to retain, right? Which means for this particular object, I have to retain 50%, right? So if I give 60%, which means I am reducing 40% of this particular structure. Remaining will be available, 60% will be available, right? So let me go for 60%. Let me have it for 60%. Because when you reduce more percent, there may be some error. It may occur accordingly because there is no proper things. When I look at the blue color in our static analysis, from that you can able to conclude what will be your percentage you can remove, right? So when I look at it, around 40% of the area is covered in blue color. So you can commit up to 60. Of course, 50 also applicable. It may come, it depends on the conditions. But you can analyze it from that particular color plot in your stress analysis, right? So let me keep it as 60. Now let me solve this. Click solve. So it creates an input file and it will be solving this, right? You can able to see it will take some iterations. In analysis setting, you can be able to get some iterations. So you have 500 iterations now, right? Since it is solving, it is disabled, you can change this iteration also to 1000. So 1000 means it takes more time to analyze it. Okay. So you can also view how it looks like in this solution information, right? You click this plus sign, you have topology density track. You can click this to view how what will be the changes occurring on that particular model, right? Let me zoom out. Let me check it out how it looks like. You can able to see the difference. It has removed a particular part. Now I am passing this particular information because it takes lots of time. I will show the results at the end. You can able to see this is the final results. When I click this topology density, you can able to see lots of parts has been removed, right, which doesn't have any stresses, right? So based on our condition, it has removed that particular part and it gives a new shape now. So the rectangular shape is converted to some a particular different shape, right? So you can also see an animation here how your shape is modified based on the iterations. Okay, so now what I can do is I'm going to use this particular model and I'm going to redesign my rectangular model to this particular model and I will analyze it, right? We will check how the results is from our previous rectangular model and with this particular redesigned model, right? So I will continue that in a next video. Okay.